Good morning, my dear students. I'm Miss Tania Poveda. Welcome to this class. This is Entrepreneurship 1. Okay, don't forget, it's very important you save this information on your computer or cell phone. And if you take notes, if you have a folder or a notebook, you can copy the information that it's important you have it with you, okay? But more important than saving the information on your computer or your cell phone or that you copy on your notebook is that you save it on your head. Okay, so pay attention and try to remember the information we are going to review today. This is a summary number 2 about what we have been studying lately, and I'm pretty sure you will remember most of the information. The only difference is that now we're going to watch 2 videos about 2 important things, especially about small and medium companies. But we're going to talk about that in a minute. Let's remember about the types of organizations. Well, we have these 3 classifications. We can classify organizations because of the sector, because of the size, and because of the ownership. One question, students. What is an organization? Do you remember what an organization is? Well, it's basically a group of people working together to get a goal. So each person is important in an organization because everybody has different functions, and each function is connected to other functions, and working together they are going to get their goals. Usually commercial goals. You know, right? 2 types of entrepreneurship, social and commercial. Usually, when talking about these kind of classifications, we're talking about commercial. Usually. Do you remember the classification about sector? I think we talked about that last week and the week previous. Just in case you don't remember, well, the classification of organizations according to the economic sectors can be these 3 as we can see in this pyramid. Primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. So primary, you know, raw materials, everything coming from nature without any transformation. Maybe water, wood, and any other product coming from earth. For example, fruit, vegetables, etc. What's the secondary sector? Then you have the transformation of those products. So it's not only fruit, but it's also maybe fruit juice. So you process the fruit till you get juice. You put it on a bottle and then you sell it. And the tertiary sector, which is basically services. They can be public services or private services. For example, the service of transport companies or banks or education, like in schools, culture, shows, concerts, health, trading, buying and selling, etc. Okay, so this is only a short review about classification of organizations according to economic sectors. Now, do you remember the classification according to the size of organizations? How many sizes we have? You probably remember this. You can classify the size of organizations according to the number of employees or according to the amount of profit they make. Something very important is that we know that this is not directly connected. For example, you can have a company like only 10 employees, 8 or 10 employees, and they can make like a lot of money and being very rich. Or the opposite, you can have a big company, I mean, with a lot of employees, like 500, and they're not making that much money. Talking about revenues, okay? So when you classify the size of an organization, you have to specify if you are talking about number of employees or amount of profit, okay? It doesn't mean that because you have more employees, you're making more money. No, it's not connected, okay? Remember that. Well, again, this is a review, and you probably remember this. We have 4 types of organizations according to the size. They are micro, when they have less than 10 employees. On the right, we have number of employees. Small, when we have between 10 and 49 employees. Medium, when they are like 50 to 249 employees, so less than 250. And large, when they have more than 250 people working there, okay? So remember this. Now I'm going to show you a very short video that you might enjoy according to this topic, okay? Enjoy.
Micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs as they're known, are the economic backbone of Europe, motors of growth, recovery, employment and innovation. So what makes them so important? Micro is defined as 10 employees or fewer with a turnover of 2 million euros or less. Small is 50 employees or fewer with a turnover of 10 million euros or less. Medium equals an enterprise with 250 employees or fewer and an annual turnover of 50 million euros or less. In Europe, there are 23 million SMEs employing 75 million people. That's 70% of Europe's entire workforce. That makes them a vital asset for Europe's many unemployed seeking work. SMEs represent 99% of all companies in the EU, generating almost 60% of the EU's total company turnover. One of their chief virtues in today's globalized economy is their flexibility, the ability to respond to market needs way beyond Europe and deliver competitive, high-quality products and services.
Okay, so
Micro, small and medium.
Let's pause this and let's continue. Okay, so you probably heard that he was talking about the number of employees and also revenues. It's very important we distinguish that video was talking about the micro, small and medium companies in Europe. Number of employees is the same, but revenues is higher or different than in South America or like in Ecuador. Okay, because remember they manage a different economy. Good. Now, when talking about revenues, when talking about the amount of money companies make, in Ecuador you can consider these numbers. So now we're not talking about the number of employees. You can have like 1,000 employees and make like less than $100,000, like we can see in this chart. So when talking about profits, if a company makes less than $100,000 per year, it's considered a micro company, like very small. Well, smaller than small. And if the company is making money between $100,000 and $1 million, you can consider it a small company, right? And when you make money between $1 million and $5 million, it's a medium company. Finally, we have big or large company. Those companies are The companies that make more than $5 million a year, of course, right? I don't know if you pay attention on the video that he was explaining the importance, or he only mentioned micro, small, and medium, but he didn't mention big or large companies, right? Well, that's because he was explaining how important micro, small, and medium companies are for the European market. And it's pretty much the same all around the world. Most of the workforce are focused or are working on these sizes of companies between micro, small, and medium. So they're working with entrepreneurs. That's why he was emphasizing about this. Okay, so I'm going to say something in Spanish, probably by the very first time during this year, and it's said about pymes. In Ecuador, or in Spanish, we call small and medium enterprises, SME, pymes. P-Y-M-E-S. I would love you to Google that expression so you can find out the meaning and the definition too. Okay? Remember that. I'm going to repeat. P like in Peter, Y, M like in mother, E, S. That's the plural. So that's in Spanish. In English, we say SME. SME means small and medium enterprises. And now we're going to watch and listen, and please, I would love you to take notes. Why small and medium enterprises are so important in the global economy, in South America economy, in Europe economy, in United States economy, all around the world. Okay, that's why we study the size of organizations, because now you can understand better how the economy around the world works. So let's watch this second video, which is a really good one. Pay attention.
Small businesses is a big business for the World Bank Group. Small and medium-sized enterprises, or SMEs, play a vital role in all economies. And as economies grow, the importance of SMEs increases. In the European Union, SMEs are believed to provide 2/3 of all jobs. Can the World Bank Group do more to help SMEs create jobs and opportunities in poorer countries?
The World Bank Group helps SMEs in two ways. The first is through systemic measures, which help SMEs and other firms access services and markets more easily and efficiently and equitably. And the second is through targeted means that direct finance, training, advice to SMEs based on their size. And just this targeted assistance has averaged about $3 billion in support per year.
Diego lost his accounting job in Nicaragua, then set up his own small business behind his home baking bread. With help from a World Bank project, he bought new machines and received expert advice. He was able to double the number of employees, shorten working hours, and introduce new products. But IEG found that if the World Bank Group helps SMEs a few at a time, the challenges are just too big. The project that helped Diego reached about 800 enterprises. Yet in Nicaragua alone, there are about 366,000 small entrepreneurs. IFC estimates that in Latin America, the credit gap between what SMEs need and what they get is around $250 billion. And globally, that gap stands at around $1.5 trillion.
To make World Bank Group support to SMEs more strategic and catalytic, we suggest that the bank group focus more on building markets and systems that will keep delivering services to SMEs after the projects are over.
In some projects, that is already happening. A World Bank project in Kenya supported exporters working with coffee cooperatives, while creating a whole new market for SME equity finance. IEG's evaluation identified several challenges in SME support.
Most projects don't identify which firms are eligible for support. 82% of IFC board documents did not define what an SME is, and 65% of World Bank project appraisal documents failed to do so. Most projects don't identify what market problem they're trying to solve. Very few projects collect enough information to know what impact we're having on SMEs or on markets, whether they are creating jobs and opportunity, and what works and what doesn't. And too few of the World Bank Group's resources go to poor countries, frontier markets, and the underserved. For example, only 7% of IFC investment commitments and 8% of World Bank lending commitments targeted to SMEs were in low-income countries.
To be more effective in helping SMEs create jobs and opportunities, IEG recommends that the World Bank Group clarify its approach to SMEs, who it wants to benefit, why, how, and where. Add more value by directing support to where it's most relevant, to less served countries, markets, and SMEs. Conduct research to better understand what SMEs can contribute. And do more to guide projects and control quality, including using better monitoring and evaluation frameworks to learn from experience.
Okay, this is the end of video number 2. We're about to finish. So, very important, you remember the meaning of SME. What's the meaning? Because you are studying something connected to businesses right now with this entrepreneurship class. So remember that SME means small and medium enterprises, or what in Spanish is pymes, P-I-M-E-S. Okay, I hope you remember all that information. That's it so far. Thank you very much for your attention. I'm really happy we're having this summary. We really need to, especially to keep the information on your heads and use it in the future for your business plans or social plans. Okay? So have a wonderful day and see you next week. Bye-bye.